Hi everyone, um, it's Wilson. Welcome to my channel. I just want to start off by saying that this channel and what I would like to do with my channel is in no way created as a means of boasting. Well, I have nothing to be boastful of. I'm entirely and forever beyond words, beyond anyone's level of comprehension. I cannot express enough how grateful I am to Yahuah and Yahusha for the blessings upon my life. I would never want to come across as trying to show off being better than anyone, or that I live a type of lifestyle that's not truthful. This is just my way of sharing budgeting with the goal of saving, whether it's 50 rand, 100 rand, 10 rand every month. Just being able to save a little something here and there so that it does help towards the end of the year. I am starting this channel now in December of 2025 because I have been using the whole of 2025 as a trial and error run as to what works for me, what doesn't work for me, where I could improve, and where I feel certain things that I've watched from cash journalists abroad, what of these things won't work for me. So I hope that what you take from my video is not, wow, she's full of crap. Instead, it's, wow, that's something I could do, or that's something that I think would be beneficial to my family. So I hope you please join my little community, and please take everything that I share with good intentions and a lot of love of trying to inspire you to save a bit more. So with that being said, let's jump into things. Okay, so before me I have 4 of my cash journals. I have the one that I use for savings. I have the one that I use for my long-term sinking funds, which basically means long-term goals. I also have the one that I use as basically to store excess. I'll get back into this. And then I have the one that I use as my wallet. So each sleeve is broken up into a certain category, which I'll show you now. And then I limit myself to a certain amount for the month, and that would be what is found in this binder. To the side over here, I do have my cash tray, or what I'm using as a cash tray to help separate the bills, just to make it a bit easier for me with my cash stuffings or unstuffings and savings challenges. It might be a bit off screen, but if you see me reaching to the left, this is, well, it's like more or less likely what I'm reaching for. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, this would be my savings binder. I do want to say, for those who have missed it, or if I have not mentioned it, I am a South African based YouTube content creator, which means the currency I'm going to be working in is Rand. I do want to mention that the savings challenges is, or the binder with my savings challenges is created for me, my family, and what I think I would be able to manage. So yeah, I hope you can see it. Let me just, yeah, okay, I'll just explain as I go along. Okay, so I'll just explain as I go along. So inside this binder I have a savings challenge. I don't know if you can see, but over there on top it is written 10 rand. So every extra 10 rand that I have at the end of the month, I'll place in this binder, and I'll make a cross or tick next to each block to keep track of how much I have in. Each challenge has a 72 grid, so I know once this is full, there's at least 72 notes in the sleeve or in the pocket. So that would be my 10 rand pocket. This would be my 20 rand pocket. I have a 30 rand, which I know doesn't make sense because of the 20 and the 10, but I figured once these two are full, I'd switch it over to a 30. I then also have a 50 rand one, I have a 70 rand one, and then I have a 100 rand and 200 rand one. So I'm pretty sure that if you're watching this, you've seen this before. And again, oh, I see I haven't cleaned this off yet, so let me do that real quick. Okay, so this one would be my example of, I don't know if you can see over there, this would be my example of the 100 envelope challenge. But instead of going back and forth between envelopes, I decided to put it on a challenge grid. I laminated it, and I have numbers ranging from 1 to 100. I know that the aim of this challenge is to select an envelope, and whatever number you land on would be the amount that goes into the envelope. However, I've decided to do it a bit differently. So what I would like to do is hopefully from 51 to 100 for each block, put the 100 rand in the pocket, and then from 1 to 50, I would like to put a 50 rand. So from 1 to 50, each block would count 50 rand, and then from 51 to 100, each one would count, or each block would count, would be a representation of 100 rand. That would, however, mean that this amount displayed here on top would not be correct, which means I would not know what I have in this pocket by the end of this challenge. It's just the way that I switch it up to make it more interesting for me. However, again, you could tell yourself you want 110 rands put in this pocket. It works however you want it to work, and whatever works for your family. So yeah, that would be this challenge over here. I want to state that having it be December, I like to give myself a head start for the following year. So I would put a bit of spare change in here so that I know going into 2026 I am not too hard on myself. But again, it hasn't always been the case that I'm able to do so. So when I am, I appreciate that. Okay, this binder would be basically my storage binder. So for example, in here I have what is called my buffer. So for example, let's say I give myself a budget of, I don't know, 3,000 for groceries, which is supposed to last me a week or two. I would then tell myself, okay, 1 week I would use maybe 1.5, which means the extra remaining 1.5 would go into my buffer sleeve or my buffer pocket, which means I do not touch it until the second week. So this would just be the excess amount available for the following week to come. I do work on 2 installments monthly, I guess you could put it that way, but for a week we try to keep it 1.5 to 2,000 rand per week for groceries, which is extremely hard in this economy. Then I have a pocket which I designate for water every month, 5-liter bottles of water for drinking purposes. And then I also have a pocket that I designate for gas tanks. So we have a gas stove, we also have gas heating, so we tend to use quite a few gas tanks. So monthly I will try to pocket 330 rand as a means of setting that money aside. I then also have a pocket that's called back to bank. So let's say, for argument's sake, we go back to this. If the pocket that I'm using for groceries, if I'm using apps like Checker 6060 or the Pick and Pay ASAP app, or with deliveries or something, if I'm making an electronic purchase for my groceries, I would then take money out of my, not the buffer, out of the grocery pocket, and I would put it in the back to bank, just to show that that money has already been allocated and used and cannot be touched anymore. It needs to go back to my bank account. So that would be the pocket labeled back to bank. Then let's move on to the spending one. Okay, so this one over here would be my spending binder. It's the binder that I use when traveling. It's the binder that I use if I am on the go, and it helps me restrict myself as to what things are used for. So for example, this would be, let me just move this out of the way for you. This would be the grocery pocket. So you'll see there's no there's no amount allocated for this, because it does vary based on what that month, or that not that month, what that week may require. So I do try to give myself a bit of grace with this. However, I'm not going to use the full amount for groceries for 1 week. It would be a bit irresponsible, considering I would have to make that stretch for a period. But yeah, no amount means I give myself a bit of grace with how I use that. Then I do have a binder labeled family time. So if we're picking the kids up from school and it's just extremely warm, on the way home we might buy the kids a milkshake or something. Or if my husband is on the road with work, he has access to this binder just used to get himself something. We don't do it very often, but if it is wanted or needed, it is there available for that. Then I have a household binder. Now this pocket, but this pocket would be dedicated to things like detergents, Sana liquid, Domestos, and anything for household detergents, it would be used for that. I then have toiletries, which would be 400 Rand. I have toilet paper, which is 300 Rand. I have I'm laughing at the fact that I still have this as puppies, and my husband keeps reminding me that the dogs are no longer puppies, but they'll always be my babies. So I have 150 dedicated to the pups. I have started this one recently in hopes of changing their diet a bit to have it a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for, nutritious, and not just have them live off of kibbles and yeah, that type of thing. So it's more to their health. Then I do have a savings pocket. So let me explain what the savings pocket is. Every month, these amounts get replaced. So during December, when I got paid, I obviously filled in the pockets, and this is what the amounts were. The savings pocket would be the money or the amounts that I removed that I had left over. So this money will be taken out and it will be used in this binder over here. And this is where I want to be very clear about the following. This is only what I'm able or prepared to put aside monthly. It could be 10 Rand, it could be 5 Rand, it could be 100 Rand. If I'm blessed to have it be 1,000 Rand, which is very rarely, then it's 1,000 Rand. But this is the money that I would want to save. I know for the fact that if this money stays in these pockets, so if I haven't used, let's use a reasonable example, if I haven't used 250 for the month at hand, instead of leaving it in here and just telling myself I now have 500 Rand to spend, I would rather remove it, place it in the savings binder and put it in the savings pocket and move it into the savings binder. I would prefer having it out of my sight when on the move, so that I know I'm not tempted to spend that or waste it. After the savings binder, the money does get moved to my bank, so I'm at no point sitting with all of this cash in my home all the time, and I do want to emphasize that. So it does go from my binder to the bank account. I just prefer working with cash because it helps me monitor and see what is going on in my accounts and in my budget. Again, the only reason for this is because it does help me personally see the finances and see what I'm working with. And again, the reason for making these videos is not to be boastful. It still hopefully triggers something in you that might help you want to start saving or doing things differently. So I hope this makes sense to you and you have better understanding as to what this is about. I will have another video coming up where I show you how the savings challenges gets done. I do just want to preface that I do have 3 playlists on this account. I think it's the cash stuffing and unstuffing. There's a condensing playlist, and then there's a savings challenges playlist. I will arrange the videos accordingly, and I hope that it does help you when you subscribe and look for the videos to refer back to. I do just want to mention that you will notice from time to time that my voice will come and go. It's not important why, but I am aware of it, and I just want you to know that it is something that, yeah, I have suffered a vocal cord injury, so the voice coming and going will be a regular thing. If it annoys you, I apologize. It annoys me, to be quite honest, but it is what it is. So yeah, I hope to see you back soon, and I'll be following up with a savings challenge video. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you do become a part of the community so that we can go on this journey together and see the progress, see whether this is worth doing, whether it is something you would like to invest in. So okay, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it, and if you are from South Africa, thank you for the support, and thank you for clicking on and watching. Have a blessed day. Goodbye.